So welcome to our first ever Tableau user group Manila virtual meetup. So let's kick off our virtual meetup with a poll. Everyone, please type in your favorite snacks in the chat box for this afternoon. Please type in your favorite snacks. So my colleagues, my fellow leaders will read.
Snacks. Oh, how fun. Okay, I see cookies with 5 exclamation marks. This person must love cookies. Chips. I see cake, pizza, pasta. Pasta for a snack. Interesting. We
Nice.
have nuts, pancakes. I can't quite read this one. Pan burikat.
Pandesal? Oh.
It must be a local snack. What is
Local
that,
snack.
Elly?
Jason, can you see it?
I'm not familiar with it. Panburikat.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that. Maybe
We gotta
later
ask Sherwin after this, what
I'll
is
check it.
this interesting snack? Okay, we have noodles, Doritos.
I think Anna's she's answered for us. It's a local series bread.
Ah, so
And we have
interesting.
fries. Okay, so this must mean we have to get all these snacks next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, my favorite is a mocha cake from Red Ribbon Goldilocks with a pair of black coffee. Yeah, mocha cake.
No idea what that is, but I'm sure it's delicious.
Yes, it's a mocha light chocolate. No. So now let's start by introducing the TUG leaders. Okay. So my name is Elly. I gained my solid Tableau experience in Emerson. I developed numerous executive dashboards, analytics used by marketing, planning, and strategists. I also did my master's thesis in energy efficiency statistics and was approved by the university dean and vice president for research and development. My hobbies, very obvious as you can see in my photo, cycling and motorcycling touring. Because of my love for bikes, I was able to visit many beautiful places in Philippines. Jason is also our Manila leader. He is a veteran in creating Excel macros, Access database, and Tableau dashboard designs. A walking encyclopedia in when it comes to data mining and data engineering. His hobbies, a car enthusiast and a gamer from City of Manila. Yeah, okay. So here's the agenda for today's virtual meetup. Opening and introduction, welcome remarks by Ms. Celine, how to present data effectively by yours truly, introduction to guest speaker by Jason, Tableau updates by our guest speaker, Ms. Jacelyn Lim, and closing remarks by Ms. Caroline. So for the introduction, so again, hello everyone. Thank you for your time and effort attending this historical event. Our first ever online or virtual meetup. Welcome and let's have fun learning. This meetup is just the beginning of our collaboration. We all came from different industries and expertise, but Tableau gathered us in this community to collaborate, help each other grow, share our best practices, and make new friends in data analytics. Make new friends. Industry. Make new friends in the industry. As an addition, we had also seen numerous job postings and opportunities in our Facebook group. It's really exciting to know that our newly formed group will be the avenue in this kind of professional collaboration. So I encourage everyone to join our Facebook group and our newly formed LinkedIn. As you can see there's a code in the slide. I am also inviting everyone to participate by sharing their insights. Maybe a 10 minutes presentation on your best practices. And we will also invite our experts in their industries to become one of our keynote speakers on our virtual sessions. It can be a traditional, share your traditional experience, share your demo, or share your any future overview. You can also share quizzes or even create exciting games for all our participants in our future virtual meetup. So here in Manila TUG, we maintain professional development, community recognition in our technical expertise. We network with our fellow Filipino Tableau users and become a technology leader in data analytics and data science. Now here is the Manila TUG highlights. This is our first meetup. So we have 60 plus participants from 47 different companies, and our Facebook formal group members are also 47. And for today's meetup, our attendance from different industries is overwhelming. So thank you guys for attending this virtual meetup. Thank you. And now let's listen to Miss Celine for her welcome message.
Thanks, Ellie, for that wonderful introduction. And you're right, this is a very historic moment where after much, I think almost maybe a year of coming together and thinking of how to put together this team. It hasn't been easy, and of course, together with the current climate of COVID and everything, it's a great opportunity to get together and get to know these users from all over the Philippines. As we can see, there are so many people joining us from all over the Philippines, not just Manila. So although this is like is named a Manila Tableau user group, I would say it really encompasses or can spread throughout the whole of the full Philippines, which is a great, once again, like a great success. So thank you, Ellie, and thank you, Jason. I really applaud you for being the first leaders of this Manila Tableau user group. So hi everyone, my name is Celine. I'm from Tableau. I'm based in Singapore and I'm part of the Southeast Asia marketing team. Ellie, if I can get the next slide, please. So I just wanted to introduce Tableau user groups as a entire program. Of course, the Tableau community is one of the biggest strengths and unique identifiers of the Tableau company. So across Southeast Asia, we have 7 or 8 groups, and these are photos from all our meetups that we've had over the years, ranging from Thailand to Singapore to Malaysia and Indonesia. These are some of the in-person meetups that we've had so far, and we've really come a long way. So you can see the massive size of these meetups in person. It really generates a lot of hype and activity, and people love coming together to share, to network, and to learn. If I can get the next slide. Yeah, so just a quick overview of like some of the groups that we've had, and these are just like logos that they've come up with and put together. We've also had we also have some unique groups, Data Plus Women Singapore, so that's like another chapter of the Tableau user group community, and then we also have Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and of course the Manila group. So like I mentioned, myself, I'm Celine from the Southeast Asia marketing team, as well as leading up the user group initiative for the region. I look after all the Southeast Asia user groups and work closely with leaders. And myself, personally, I'm not a crazy cat lady. I don't have 8 cats in my house, but I am a huge cat lover. And together with me, my partner in crime is Caroline. She is based in London, and hopefully soon she will be in Sydney. She's having a bit of issues, but hopefully soon, let's all pray for her that she will get to Sydney safely. She is a co-leader for the Data Plus Women London group, and she, like all Filipinos, she loves ube because her surname is Yam. Okay, not so funny, but okay, people should get the joke. Okay, next slide. I also wanted to take this opportunity to introduce the Tableau Philippines team. We've come a long way for Tableau as a company as well. Recently, with our acquisition by Salesforce, we've joined forces and now we've expanded our team to encompass and focus on a new market, which is Philippines. And these 3 individuals here are part of the Philippines account team, and they look after all the accounts and all the Tableau users, customers, and potential customers in the Philippines. So first of all, we have Manal. He's a veteran. He's been at Tableau for 5 years, and he is loving it. He is now an account manager for medium-sized organizations. And prior to this, he was actually a solution engineer. So he is very well versed. And if you have any questions, do reach out to him. And he says that the only time he ignores social distancing measures currently is when he's playing defense on the basketball court. So huge basketball lover we have here. Next, we have Coco. Coco has been in Tableau for 3 years. Previously, he was working with government agencies in Australia, but now he is part of the Philippines team, working with data leaders and at some of the largest companies and advocating data analytics programs locally. So any questions as well, if you're part of a large organization in the corporate world, do reach out to Coco if you have any questions. Lastly, we have Joanne. Our beautiful Joanne is based in Manila herself. She is a seasoned technology sales professional and digital disruption advocate. She looks after the large enterprises, and despite her petite size, she is actually an avid triathlete as well as a dog lover. So do reach out to Joanne if you're part of a large organization and looking to expand or start your data journey with Tableau. Next, I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce an upcoming event. It's a virtual event. It's going to be a big one. It's Tableau Live Asia Pacific coming up next week on August the 26th. So what is Tableau Live Asia Pacific? Basically, it's a huge virtual conference that's happening across the APAC region due to, of course, COVID. We can't have in-person events like we used to, but this is a great way for us to reach out to more people than we previously could have by allowing anyone from anywhere across the world to take part. So go ahead and scan this QR code if you have not registered yet. You would want to save a seat because I do think they are limited. So yeah, scan and get yourself registered. It is a half-day event happening from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And all session streams are actually in English, but there will be captioning in Japanese, Korean, Thai, Bahasa Indonesia, and Mandarin for all our other friends. And the reason why we are hosting this event is because we want to give an opportunity to everyone to learn, connect, and have fun with data. So this is not just an event for people who are new to Tableau, or rather people who are already using Tableau. It is really an event open to anyone and everyone. Okay, so it's not restricted. Yeah, it's not restricted, just customers. Anyone can join us. Just a brief breakdown of what's happening at the event. We're going to have a keynote by our executives, as well as a customer keynote by 2 individuals from a big financial institution here based in Singapore. They're also, one of them is also very active in the Tableau community, and she's actually a leader of the Singapore Tableau user group. So I would say that these opportunities always come up, and it's great to see them get represented at these huge events. We also have data discussion panels happening. There'll be a Data plus Women discussion panel. There'll be one focused on financial services, and there's one catered just for data leaders. So if you're a data leader, do join us. This is something that you'll want to hear from. There'll also be other activities such as roundtables and Tableau doctor appointments, which you would want to keep an eye out for. Do register for the event and get yourself booked an appointment if they're still available, because you can get all your Tableau questions answered by these Tableau doctors on the day itself. We'll also have some breakout sessions, but I shall not go through it for now. If I can get the next slide. Okay, so how can you get involved in the lead up? So very excitingly, we actually have our photo booth live today. So the link will be shared. I'll share this in the chat after this. Anyone and everyone can go in there and take a fun photo like the one you see right here. And you can post it on your social media, social channels, and remember to use the hashtag TableauLive20. I think this is a fun way to get engaged with the event, to see what's happening. You can also follow the hashtag to find out what are some of the conversations that are going on. And yeah, get to know some people that in the lead up to the event. And then on the day itself, I would really encourage you to take part in the roundtables. If I remember correctly, I think Murnal is going to host a roundtable, and he is inviting everyone in Manila, in the Philippines, to join him in this discussion. I'll be happy to help him share some more information about this after this event, so that you can get in touch and speak to, someone who is local, someone who is who knows the region and knows the local context. I think this will be a great opportunity for you to connect with like-minded people as well. You can also visit the photo booth on the day itself and take a fun selfie if you don't do it now, and at the same time engage with your peers on social media and use the hashtag TableauLive20. Okay, and with that, I'll pass the time back to Elly, who will start off with a introduction or presentation on how to present data effectively. Thank you, Elly, and over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Celine. For today's meetup, I would like to share effective data presentation. So how to present data effectively. So how do I make my data visualization more interesting, dynamic, relevant, and well received by diverse audiences? For anyone developing a visualization, whether you're a newcomer or a seasoned data analyst, these questions are top of mind because you want to make it great. If they are done well, visualizations tell an interesting story. They can also shine a light on hidden information and details that you wouldn't uncover in a spreadsheet, bar chart, or pie chart. Before jumping to specifics, think about what you want to accomplish with visualization, which helps you decide what the data to include. Know your audience, what questions do they have, what other questions will visualization inspire, or what conversations may result. When you're ready to dive in and create these tips and techniques, will make your visualization intuitive and interesting. So it's digested quicker, easier, and the intended message come through clearly, leaving viewers with specific helpful takeaways. So our first tip, choose the right charts and graphs for the job. One size does not fit all, so clearly consider and choose the right format for your visualization that will best tell the story and answer key questions generated by data, all of it connecting with your main purpose. Second, use predictable patterns for layouts. Humans are visual creatures by nature. Our eyes are drawn to indicators that tell us important information at a glance. We naturally seek patterns, and if patterns are random or don't make sense, it's very difficult to understand what the visualization conveys. Third, tell the stories quickly with clear color cues. Color is important. It can convey so much without using words. However, there's a delicate balance to using color. Keeping it simple is best. Use color to highlight and emphasize the information. Fourth, incorporate contextual clues with shapes and designs. Context helps us decode information at first glance instead of sitting and scrutinizing it. Subject matter shapes can tell a compelling story. For example, the above chart on the endangered species in Africa tells us the quick glance what animals are endangered and how vulnerable they are. Instead of using bar charts with values where each animal is minimized to numbers and text that make the data and viewer get lost. Using the animal makes it far more interesting and intuitive. Fifth, strategically use size to visualize values. Size can help emphasize poignant or distressing information and add contextual clues. In the previous visualization, the endangered animal shapes mimic how large an animal is in relation to others. However, size can also denote scaled values instead of using color, shape, and size can adjust based on data values. And the last six, apply text carefully and intentionally. Lastly, your choice of text can improve your visualization, whether it's the kind of text you use or even how much. While text is distracting when there's too much or if it's not organized in a visually pleasant way, sometimes relying only on visuals doesn't suffice. Now, how to take your visualizations from good to great? So place the most important view at the top or in the upper left corner. Your eye is usually drawn to that area first. Limit the number of views on your visualization to 3 or 4. If you add too many, the big picture is lost in the details. Next, if you have multiple filters, try grouping them together. A light border around them gives subtle visual cue that they have shared features. And interactivity can make difference between a horribly confusing visualization and an all-star analysis. Okay? Now you know how to present the data effectively. I will now turn you over to Jason to introduce our guest speaker. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason. Sorry, I don't have a video right now because there's a power shortage here. Okay, I am pleased to introduce our guest speaker from Tableau, Southeast Asia in Singapore. She is on a mission to help organizations go from huh Aha! As a Tableau solutions engineer with Southeast Asia regional exposure to diverse industries, a well-experienced solutions consultant with a demonstrated history of working in the computer software industry. She is also skilled in pre-sales, data analytics, and dashboard corporate performance management. A strong engineering professional with a Bachelor of Computing, also known as Information System with honors, focused in Service System Management Engineering from National University of Singapore. Outside of Tableau, her passion in the food industry that can be found in her instant ramen business and many other food-related visualization that she bookmarked on Tableau Public. And on other times, she enjoys a good stretch on yoga. Without further ado, let us all welcome Miss Jacelyn Lim.
Hi guys. Yeah, thanks for that introduction. Thank you. Yes, so I really do love food as well. Definitely my first visualization, like a complete dashboard that we have to do when we join Tableau is definitely uh, I took some data from other than world GDP data. I took some information also on the amount of instant noodles that was manufactured those years, and I make it into a dashboard. Yeah, so really instant ramen is my very first Tableau dashboard as well. Yeah, so really great to be here today to share with you some of the Tableau innovation. So we'll be going a bit back in the time to recap also what's new from perhaps the year 2019, and then to look at what is new in the current versions as well. So just a quick jump through, as we have so many of the new functions. Definitely do check out the what's new page for each individual versions that goes down into the details. Yeah. Okay, cool. So in terms of innovation, I'm sure you have also felt the dynamics of things where you would see more and more Tableau releases or announcements with Tableau releases with great features that's always around the corner. So that's right. So since 2018 onwards, we are having more and more release on every quarter of the year. So more features and functions for all of the Tableau users out there, be it Tableau desktop functions, be it server functions, or even prep, something new that's from 2018 onwards as well. So we're always trying to help everyone and also to make every of our users more engaged and excited with these new features and functions. So just in 2019 alone, there's definitely way more than 200 features that is being delivered also across the different segment of the product. So we have added some things that's called Ask Data and also Explain Data, where you can have augmented capabilities to really, in a way, Google your business data in plain text word format. Yeah, and explain data to be able to help you to uncover the insights in a much faster manner. So we do also want to have the entire community to be able to trust the data that they are using on Tableau server when they're doing exploration. So that's where things like data management exists. So it also helps users to be able to find out where the lineage of the entire data, where does this data gets updated from, and also who are the owners of the data. Some of the other information that can be seen on the lineage would also be the description of each of the fields or measures that is used on the visualizations itself. Because sometimes when we look at a dashboard that was published by another user, we may be wondering how did they come up with a certain calculation? What is the actual formulas behind? So with lineage under data management, you can have more visibility in that. And with this trusted environment, definitely more users can then adopt Tableau and also enjoy using Tableau with part of their day-to-day work, as well as they can use it for in their leisure time when they are contributing to perhaps the Tableau public community. Yeah. So likewise, for the server side of things, for administrators, we have server management to really help you to be very easy to deploy your Tableau workbooks and all that from the dev environment into production environment, as well as to be able to have more insights into the Tableau server processes behind the performance and so forth. Yeah, so that is the addition we have into the Tableau environment, the data management piece, and also server management piece, in addition to the Tableau prep that we are always constantly improving to provide more features and functions. And just in the very latest version, 2020.3, we are now able to write to external databases. So database like SQL, Snowflakes, and all that, they would be able to receive also the output from Tableau prep flow, in addition to just being able to output the hyper file as well as the CSV file segment. Yeah, so in terms of the visual analytics portion of the what's new, so this session will be more focusing on the desktop side of things, and definitely there's a lot also on the improvement on the server side that I've mentioned earlier, data management and server management, which I do also encourage you to check them out in the what's new page. So broadly speaking, so in terms of the evolution of the visual analytics through the different versions, this would be some of the main release or main points for between 2019 to the current version. So one is Viz animation, and next would be geospatial analytics, where we do see more and more focus to allow more business users to be able to do their analytics on geospatial side of things, instead of it having to be done by data scientists or someone who really needs to know a lot about geospatial functions in order to do those analysis. So we are empowering more users capability on that. And of course, we have things like parameters, more parameters action, and also some of the improvement in terms of when you're building a dashboard, there's more buttons and also show and hide containers, which can help to help you to put in more items onto your dashboard, because we all know that our screen real estate is really, really precious, and we always want to put in more information or whenever we can. That's just a tendency we always have to fight with, like what is the more important information that I should put in. So maybe show and hide container could be a good avenue for you to also redesign your workbooks or dashboards to utilize these new functions. And definitely for explain data, that's where you could also jump into some of the outliers or even points on your data when you are exploring in your workbook. So it doesn't have to be preset or that there isn't a configuration required. You would see later on that with just a click of a button, we'll run through some predictive modeling and algorithm in order to provide some of the explanation for you automatically. Yeah, so first, this is Viz animation. You can really turn this on or off based on every worksheet, or even based on the entire workbook itself. So it brings another dimension into your analysis when you start seeing perhaps the marks move. It can convey more as you are presenting your work as well. So you could utilize this, and one of the great ways that this is used is also to see the evolution of time with regards to maybe GDP or some of the things like the ages. You would see that example later on. Also, in terms of geospatial, we really make it really simple for users now. So previously, if you want to calculate some distance or even draw an arc line, in this case, on the map, you may have to write some complex mathematical calculations like this, with all the sine, cosine, and all that in the formulas. But now we have packaged it into one of the calculation formulas in Tableau that's called distance. So you just need to indicate the parameters in and tell Tableau if you want to look at this based on measurements of kilometers or meters, and then we'll be able to directly plot this out for you on the map, as well as with the curve if you are talking about flight maps. Something new as well, it's the buffer calculation. So now you'll be able to see the area or the distance from a specific location. And if you pair that together with dual axis, you can then find out if some of the places are overlapping, maybe a point on your shop. You can find out things about maybe the competitors and around your area. Or if you're looking at setting up new shops or new facilities, you may also want to check out if you set up a facility somewhere within a certain premise, how far is it from your target audience, or even how near or far is it from other competitors. Yeah, so then we have the height, show and height dashboard containers as well. So that's just the one where it enables you to really easily have this show and hide function. You can place any of the items in a container. So this is basically a floating container that allows you to shrink and also expand. So anything that you can place within a container, be it filters, be it another dashboard, or many other funky and creative ways that you can place some of the buttons or use this function, you can definitely do it on the show and hide dashboard containers. Okay, then let me perhaps also jump into explain data. Yeah. So explain data, this is how you could utilize this. It comes up as a light bulb button within any point on your data set, and then Tableau will run through the engine to also consider all of the factors in your dimensions as well as measures to give you some of the recommendation of what it thinks, why this point that you've selected is an outlier, or what are the reasons that cause this value to be of certain range. Yeah. And you can definitely jump right into the analysis by clicking directly on the graphs that was presented in the explain data. And from there, drill down further into more details of what you think may be the reason. So it really speeds up analysis. And of course, you can also still do that with the usual ad hoc analysis, the usual discovery. This definitely will help you further. Also, something new in the latest version, more towards the also the spatial part of things. Now you'll be able to join the spatial files or union the spatial files together. So previously, when users have a spatial file for just a particular zone, and if they want to add in another zone, they may have to go back to the geospatial programs to actually combine the two spatial files together. But now in the desktop, we actually now support the geospatial file union. So you can imagine this like your usual Tableau file union, where you have the same type of files, maybe Excel files with same format, except that it is for perhaps the different months. And you just want to stack all these files together to be used in one single data set. So it's the same concept, but it's for spatial file. So instead of having to do this in a geospatial or maybe the S3s or other type of maps programs there, users can directly do this in the desktop. So if they don't have, the business users doesn't have any access to the file mapping services or systems, they can directly do that in desktop, which then also can help them to start their own geospatial analysis directly here. Yeah. So two of also the new functions that is now in the calculation panel of Tableau desktop would be model quantile and model percentile. So these are some of the predictive functions where it's utilized in our explain data. So some of the functions here that's being placed outside of the box. So you can put in parameters as well as add in other, in addition to adding in more numerical parameters for the prediction, you could also put in dimensions for the prediction. Maybe it's like a yes, no. If your dimension contains information like a yes or no value, you can use that as well as part of the predictive modeling function. So the percentile would give you also the likelihood of whether the prediction will fall within a certain range, so that you can see how or measure the accuracy also of the prediction as well. Yeah. So something also in the desktop side would be the parameters action clear setting. So when we are using parameters action, most of the time we will be setting up default parameters value. But whenever we click on the other areas of the parameters, or we have unselect the parameters, it completely goes reset. So if we want to keep the selection default at certain value, when the users clear up what they have selected, you still want it to be shown in a default setting. So this is one of the new options for you to be able to choose that in the parameters action itself. Yeah, so these are some of the new innovations, and then let me also jump into my Tableau desktop. Yeah, so furthermore, adding to the geospatial functions, we definitely have also updated our map layers using Mapbox now. So if you have details that plot on the map itself, if you're using satellites, you can really look at the streets and also the details here that can facilitate you to see and understand your data better. Especially perhaps when you're looking at your data set, you may only have information that's related, perhaps delivery or maybe a crime case, where you only have dots or spots where a certain incident happened. But with the help of the map, with additional details like this, you may suddenly will be able to see that if crime rates are more or happening more in certain area because of maybe a certain landmark, or that area happens to be maybe a clubbing area or a darker area with less population and so forth. These are the additional information that may not exist in your data set, but if you look at the map visually, you will be able to also correlate and come up with analysis in a better sense. Yeah. So definitely more geospatial functions I've mentioned here. So these curves, distance, and also making this point and line is automatic. You don't have to write those sine and cosine language. Now, this is the buffer calculation that we are utilizing here. So each of the bubbles or dot here could be a shop, and then each of the individual dots here could have been your customers who ordered from you. So if your target is to capture most of your or serve more of your customers within those zones, we may want to also increase the buffer zone in this case. So every bubble now has the radius of about 500 meters. And maybe what we want to try out is that, okay, if we increase our service or delivery coverage area to maybe 1,200 meters, which is like 1.2 kilometers. So how many of the users are likely to be served in those areas? And also we can see some of the areas that may be under served. Like in this case, there's almost no coverage in those areas. Then it could be an opportunity for the shops as well to set up some of the shops near this area, or have a study of the demand that is coming from the customers, and then decide from there. So this comes with also using of the parameters as well as the buffer calculation to achieve that. And also something that's new in the recent release this year would be relationships. So we're talking about the data relationships here. And it is what you may be familiar in the Tableau data source side of things would be that when you have two different tables that you would like to associate together, typically you would recall that you can do a table join where we have information here. In this example, the population information by each city in the London region. And we may have another set of data that is of the crime rate information. So each record here is a crime rate, and it can be associated with also a town here. So we may often find that when we do the table join in this case, the number for the population may have been double or triple. So if I have 10 cases of crime that is associated with the first town or first city here, this number may then be multiplied 10 times, because when we join the rows together, it's just gonna get duplicated. So that's the usual table join where we have that we are all familiar with. We drag and drop in, common fields detected, data gets duplicated here. Then when we go back to our worksheets, yeah, the number gets multiplied, and you may have to do calculations or all these in order to make that unique again. But now with relationships, so we are not fixing the results of the join right in the beginning. So that will be more suitable, or rather the table join here can still be used definitely. And it can be used for those that has one-to-one relationship with your data set. And those that may have multiple relationship, like in this example, you can use the table, you can use your relationships. So it looks pretty similar like join. So instead, you would see a curly noodles here. So that is also joining based on a common field in this case, but the result of the join does not happen at the data source layer. So it would depend on what you have placed in your worksheets before then Tableau decide what is the what kind of join is required to display your information. So that's why when you click on each of the tables here, you would only see the results of individual tables, but unlike the join earlier where you see the complete set of data. So then when we come back to our worksheet, Tableau understands that it's the relationship that's going on here. It then shows you the accurate information of the London population without it being duplicated. So for business users, it would mean that you can simply try out or do data exploration in a much easier manner as well. You do not really need to understand very technically like what does the left join, right join, all that may mean. And you don't have to also worry if there's a duplication that happens in the data set and what you have to do here. So it allows you to have a faster way to also get started to do your data exploration using the relationship function. And in terms of explain data, the part where we would also like to speed up our insights or speed up our time to analysis. So we are now looking also at a duration of home ownership in London. So whenever you click on any of the points here, in addition to the usual buttons that we are familiar with, you would see this very brand new button here that looks like a light bulb. This is our explain data. So let's see what Tableau have found out for us. So this particular area of home ownership is lower than expected. It could be because perhaps in this case, the residential group here is of a younger profile. So we have a community of younger profile that is of a higher ratio as compared to the rest of the areas, which is in gray. So it shows us that, and it also goes all the way to things like looking into perhaps employment status, the number of years that people have been employed or unemployed, and the number of percentage of the population that is retired. So it actually takes into consideration all the factors that is in your data set and come up with a correlation with the statistical models inside. So this function, you don't have to activate that. It appears automatically as you click on the point. You see this button here. Okay. Yeah. So this is also one of the latest function here that we have for in terms of the predictive modeling. So it's part of the functionalities that is already within Tableau as one of the calculation models. So that is where we can set or put in more and more parameters in order to increase what we want to predict in this case. Yeah. So here we are using the logarithm to function to actually find out about the or predict the life expectancy in this case based on the health expenditure. So then in this case, the function that we have seen earlier on the predicted life expectancy. So this goes on to put in some information that we are trying to predict on the female's health, and based on also some of the parameters here, which you could also put in more. So in addition to just looking at the logs of health and also the expense on health, you potentially could put in other variables to also increase to that. Yeah. So you could just add in also the functions as well as use one of the measurements here to add in or put in your this parameter, and Tableau will again calculate and compute this for you. So you can get a more visual output of the, this case, the predicting of the life expectancy. Yeah, so this will be some of the main, what's new function that is on Tableau from going back in time in 2019 and all the way to at this moment 2020.3. So 2020.3 is rather new. I think it's only released I think maybe sometime last week or early on this week. So yeah, definitely do encourage you to download them, try out the new features and functions, and yeah, continue to explore and enjoy using Tableau. Yeah. So, okay. I will pass it back to you.
Okay, that's a good presentation. For our closing remarks, Caroline.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on this as a special guest. So I just wanted to end this session, our first Manila session, just with a few words. As Elly was saying before, my name is Caroline. I'm actually based out in London, but I do manage the APAC Tableau User Group program. I actually sit in the community team, so a few of you may have seen my face before if you've joined a few of these user groups. So just as Elly said in the beginning, user groups are a fantastic way to connect and learn from each other and share best practices. As this is the first group, this is still early days. It's a group that's still growing, and we need all of your help to build this group to be at the same, size, and to be to deliver the value that you guys want, because user groups are by the community for the community. I encourage you guys, if you can, to make sure you check your emails, because the next meetup will probably be planned again sometime in the future. What you can do to help, though, is you can spread the word to your colleagues, to your friends, or anyone that you know is interested in Tableau, or even just learning a little bit more about data. The user group is a great place to gain insights, as you can see from our previous presentations about industry trends, learn best practices, collaborate with the Tableau community, and hear other stories, and as well as learn where the product is heading. One of our Tableau users, one example would be he went from attending a user group to becoming a leader, to then be getting a job where he currently leads a global analytics team. So I think Tableau user groups are a great platform and way to really accelerate your career. as Elly mentioned at the very beginning, user groups are always in need of help. So if you're looking to learn new skills, you're really good at organizing, or you just kind of want to help out, get to know everyone, make sure you let Elly and Jason know that you're interested in helping them out and leading the group as well. And the last thing I'll leave you with is that every single user group, we always need speakers. So today we had, quite a few of us. We had Celine, we had Elly, Jason, Jacelyn, and me. But as I said, user groups are by users for users. So we want to hear from you guys. So make sure you reach out and let us know. We've posted in the chat the Facebook link group for you can join. I can also post the LinkedIn group for you to join. But yeah, excited to see where you guys are. I hope we get to see you in Tableau Live at Asia Pacific. And yeah, this is going to be the start of something really fun. Thank you for having me.
All right. Celine, would you like anything to add?
Yeah, I just got a question. This is a good question from Ricky in the Q&A. So he's asking if there's a formal membership for this Manila Tableau user group. And really there isn't, but I think if Elly, you can go back to one of your first few slides with the Facebook and the LinkedIn QR code. Maybe you can just flash that slide again for people to
Sure.
scan, so that everyone can join these groups. So if you really want to stay updated and get to know like when are the meetups happening, I would suggest that the best way is to join these social channels. This would be a great way to stay updated. This is where our leaders will also post all the upcoming meetups. And of course, we do send emailers, whether it's through us from Tableau or whether it's from the leaders themselves. You will get an email for all future meetups. We do invite all our Tableau customers based in region. So if you have registered or in some way come across like Tableau marketing emails and you're registered in our database, you will get an invite from us, and we'll love to see you at our future meetups. Thanks, Elly.
Okay. So I think we're on time, and I guess we will keep in touch and we'll communicate via our group, Facebook group, and some. Also, please add the LinkedIn group so we can add those things to our profiles. Okay, I guess that's all for today.
That's a wrap. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Have a great evening.
See you around. Bye bye.
Bye.